Hey yo, Jojo here, and welcome back to another episode of the Ballads at Midnight. Last time we got dropped off into vampire territory, so we shall see how it goes. Most likely gonna end up in death, with me at least. Dusk falls. There's barely a sliver of apricot orange glowing across the horizon, which means my shelter of light dims and shrinks by the minute. I shiver as the evening cold burrows under my clothes, and I sense the vampire just moments before I hear it speak.
Well, another gift from the crown.
What? There's voice acting. Awesome. The creature's airy, serpentine voice moves around me as it prowls beyond the perimeter of remaining light. It's watching me, circling me like a vulture.
What grievous crimes you must have committed to be sent all the way here.
Actually, I don't even know what crimes we committed. I draw my dagger, pointing it at the source.
Assessing your dinner, beast? Your mother should have taught you not to play with your food.
Oh, that is not the voice I expected to come out of her. I'm gonna be real. The voice lapses into a contemplative hum. My heart hammers against my ribs as I lose track of the vampire in the silence. I twist around, catching sight of his eyes reflecting in moonlight right when it lunges. The vampire snatches me by the wrist. The skin on its dark, clawed hand bubbles under the waning sunlight before it wrenches me into the shadows. Ooh, my dagger clatters to the ground.
You're talkative. I usually like it when they're talkative, but yours is an insolent nature. No doubt you've ended up here by disrespecting some local authority.
Very likely, yes. The vampire hoists my arm above our heads, positioning us face to face as he regards me. I scrutinize him in turn. He bears similarities to a human man, but I still glance upward, observing his already healed hand with dismay.
You smell of chain rust, fresh soil, dried blood, and incense.
Yeah,
That's
hit with nuns and orphans.
a weird combo. Okay. Nuns and orphans. What am I doing? This isn't the time for banter. I struggle in his grasp. He steps forward and we remain blanketed under the gloom of darkness. There's a small clatter underfoot as he drives his boot under my dagger, kicks it upright, and then snatches the blade out of the air in a fluid motion. He twirls the dagger between his long fingers, appraising it.
Most unusual. Few of my guests managed to smuggle a means to escape their bonds. If I had to wager, you must be a talented cutpurse, which wouldn't be the worst offense, all things considered.
I'm actually so glad there's voice acting, because my voice would get very tired of reading all of this.
Stop manhandling me!
With my free, open palm, I smack him hard across the face and yank my captive hand free. He flinches at the blow, looking more astonished than anything. I don't stay long enough to watch how he reacts next. I run. My lungs are heavy in my chest and my body is screaming at me to catch my breath, but I can't stop now. There's nothing I can use in the courtyard. My only choice is to head into the estate and hope to find a means of escape. There's gotta be a ladder or something I can use to scale that damn ledge. Then I just need to find something buoyant, like a wood panel or a door, something. I run down dizzying, identical hallways. I'm sure he catches up to us. Down several cavernous rooms, displacing dining chairs and overturning saloon end tables in my wake. But there's nothing I can use to escape, nothing I can narrow down in my panic. All the while, the vampire follows me with an even stride. He rubs his cheek with narrowed eyes.
Will you slow down? This is terribly tedious.
Hell no, my dude. You gonna murderize me.
No.
He hasn't changed his shape, but I know how quickly he can pounce if I let him near. I can't let him get close. I topple a nearby cabinet, sending it careening onto the floor between us. The vampire makes a small offended noise amid the sound of crashing glass. Before he can react further, I seize a standing vase and hold it aloft, ready to throw.
Stop it. Calm down.
I would have expected his voice to come out a little more outraged, but no, he's pretty chill right now. I pivot my grasp on the lip of the vase, bending my arms menacingly. Water and flowers slosh onto the floor.
You dare to tell me to calm down? Really?
Yeah, that's, yeah, you don't tell a woman to calm down, damn it. You'd think he would know this. There's an audible, muffled sigh when the vampire steeples his hands in front of his nose.
Despise the chase. Look at this blasted mess. Do you realize no one else lives here? If you're gone, who do you think has to clean up the remains of your rampage?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get eaten, my friend.
I'm sorry. Are you criticizing the way I'm fighting for my life?
You must understand, mortal. Despite what the good people of Illuvia will have you believe, I have no bestial compulsion to take your life. Alright?
Then what do you want to do with me? And also, what happened to all the other people who get dropped off here as a sacrifice? What?
Though I'll
I'm
admit
confused.
you sorely tempted me with the prospect of your demise. There is a civilized alternative worth considering.
What alternative? A civilized alternative to becoming a withered, bloodless corpse decorating his hallway. I keep the vase aloft, halfway between willful rebellion and uncertain curiosity.
I'm listening.
That is all I ask. First of all, this here.
What? He dangles the dagger from between two fingers as if it's a dirty sock he found in my chambers.
As a show of good faith, I will return to you this nasty little thing. In exchange, you will not stab me with it.
But you telling me not to stab you makes me want to stab you even more.
Its blade is neither sharp nor long enough to
Damn
kill
it.
me, but it will deeply annoy me. If I am deeply annoyed, I will be forced to rescind my good faith and tear you to shreds. Understand?
Fine, I won't do a stabby stab on you. I furrow my brows, but I nod. It makes sense. If I actually want to incapacitate him, I'd at least need a larger weapon. I've yet to hear any myths where vampires are notoriously weak to standard cavalry daggers.
Good girl. Here.
He tosses the dagger over to me. It slides along the floor until I stop it with the heel of my boot. I don't bend to pick it up.
Our next matter at hand is the barter. I've
The
been known
barter?
to spare and set my prisoners free in exchange for knowledge or for an item of substantial value.
Really? You set them free?
Fortunately for you, I noticed the loot strapped to your back while you were racing through my abode.
Oh, I'm not giving you that. There's no way. Oh no. I pivot my torso away, trying in vain to hide the instrument from sight.
Oh, now, don't be selfish. Give it to me and you will have your freedom.
I can play it for you, but I'm not giving it to
Life
you.
will be yours again. Keep away from Illuvia and lay low for several years. The crown will be none the wiser.
Wait, but then how do you get your sustenance?
I can't.
What?
I've cared for it ever since I was a little girl. How can I possibly give it up now?
Can't give it to you. No. I nearly lost it once already.
Damn, the emotion.
Nothing is stopping
Okay.
you from purchasing a new one once you have your freedom. Certainly you'll have to save up for a while. I recognize the value of an average instrument, let alone how much an artisan lute must cost now after centuries of inflation.
Oh, he's aware of these
However,
things.
you'll have plenty of chances to...
No.
No. I said I won't give it to you.
Why not?
Oh, he's throwing a temper tantrum because I won't give him my instrument. Why is he angry at me? Hypocrite. I raise my voice to match his tone. I can't help it. I get competitive.
You imply me to be insensitive on the grounds of trampling through your home, but what about you? Demanding my only means of providing for myself.
Your only means? Nonsense. You're able-bodied, young, far from hideous. Once you have your freedom, I'm quite certain you'll figure something out.
I'm not selling myself off.
Your venerable age must have impaired your hearing then, vampire. Because I'm not sure you quite caught it when I repeatedly said no. I am not giving it to you.
Fine.
Okay.
You're not leaving.
Oh, his fangs came out. He is kind of like a child throwing a tantrum.
I pray you'll have fun rotting in here for the remainder of your brief and miserable existence, mortal. At which point you and I might have something in common.
Okay, then. He erupts into a vicious flurry of black mist. Once it clears, I see the flapping outline of a bat soaring out the window and into the night. I groan between gritted teeth, jostling the stupid vase that I'm still holding over my head. Wow. I just am mind blown by his tantrum. And, like, the fact that he hasn't drained her at this point is astonishing to me. Like, he jumped out the window. He could have just killed me then and then taken my instrument, but he didn't. It's interesting. As tempting as it is to smash it, I set it down and began gathering the displaced flowers with a dejected sigh. The blooms are vibrantly fresh and fragrant, but they're going to wilt without water. Gods, I just got into a screaming match with a vampire and upset him so much that he had to, I don't know, go take an angry nap? I'm still alive. I should really count this as a win, but I don't know. My chest is tight with apprehension. I wasn't supposed to annoy him. He said he'd rip me to shreds if I annoyed him. Damn it, gods damn it, what have I done? I should have offered to barter with something else. But what do you have, really? I don't think you have anything else on your person. I doubt he'd be interested in the few coins I have, and I can't bear to part with my music, but he did mention an option to trade knowledge. Even if he's had centuries to experience the world around us, surely there's an obscure nugget of wisdom that I can impart. After all, I like to think that everyone I meet teaches me something new. I'll have to leverage if I can figure out what he already knows. And if I can't, then I need to find something else to protect myself. The dagger will be of little use aside from cutting rope. Okay. Oh, already in chapter 3. Stray Dog Serenade. Night seems never ending as I creep through the estate. The vampire hasn't shown himself since our earlier squabble, though his absence does little to assuage my nerves. As any prey animal knows, the deadliest predator is one you don't see coming. Exhaustion weighs against my eyes, but adrenaline keeps me on edge, pulsing through my veins like a heavy drum. The slightest shift of wind-blown curtains makes me jump. I keep expecting those moonlit eyes to be watching me when I return. But the shadows are always barren, devoid of vampires. Does he truly mean to sulk for the remainder of the night? I suppose I should count my blessings while I can. As I explore, I notice how each successive chamber is spotless and immaculately tidy, aside from the furniture I disturbed, which I take the time to straighten. I uncover an abundance of books crowding the shelves and various surfaces. They contain an array of technical topics, including geography, astronomy, invocation, and mathematics. They're all dog-eared and full of notes. Don't tell me he's read every book in the estate. He probably has. I'm sure he has the time to. I can't panic yet. I can still narrow this down. Assuming he takes the time to clean his most frequented places, I ought to pay attention to what is and isn't covered in dust. Yet even locating a single cobweb presents a unique challenge. I set a book down, running my hand across the marble exterior of an engraved fireplace. Even this is pristine, unmarred by old ashes and licking flames. The nearby fire iron, at least, is an encouraging sight. I pick it up and give it a gentle swing, testing the weight, and wince when my arm throbs in protest. I have to remind myself to use my non-dominant hand. Why? What happened to your dominant hand? Did something happen that I wasn't aware of, or am I just that forgetful? The fire iron has a dull tip that's unlikely to pierce skin, but a decisive strike should send anyone reeling, even an immortal creature of the night. Of course, pissing him off by whacking him in the head is the last resort. I'm more interested in jabbing the fire iron into the ledge outside and using it as a handhold to climb my way up. The idea may sound absurd, but it could work. I won't know until I try. Although, even if I successfully scale the ledge, I'd still have to defeat the moat somehow. My gaze wanders across the chamber. If someone is wealthy enough to build a castle, they usually enjoy surrounding themselves with larger-than-life portraits. One would think that I'd have found a big enough painting to pry off the wall and ride across the moat by now, but the decor is tragically modest. As I move to lower my arms, a golden glint reflects off the dark metal of the fire iron. I pivot my shoulders with cautious hope. There, thin rays of dawn's light gleam through the drawn curtains. My body practically moves on its own. I march to the window and wrench the curtains open. Morning daylight fills the chamber. I'd never been happier to see the sun peeking over the mountains like an old friend, though The moment the curtains shifted, a small beige shape moves with it across the floor. A rat? I hate rats. I've always been scared of them. When I hop away from the shape, I observe how it doesn't continue to move. What is it? I bend to inspect it, using the fire iron for support. It's just a furled scrap of parchment, brown and frail with age. Yet it's an unusual sight, considering how free of dirt and clutter the rest of the room is. Would you look at that? He's finally missed a spot. I suppose the vampire doesn't enjoy cleaning under the curtains, lest the sun sneak up on him unawares. I turn the paper over, noting the smudge of charcoal rubbing off my thumb. Part of a larger drawing, maybe even one of those enormous portraits I'm sorely missing. I'm sure it's worthless, but no harm holding on to it. Perhaps the vampire will appreciate my help in tidying up. I try and fail to hold back a yawn that makes my entire body shudder. The bloom of sunlight fixed in the sky, though refreshing to see, also serves as a reminder of how much time has passed, of how little sleep I've gotten. There won't be a better time to get some rest. I look at the chamber one final time, to be surrounded by various furnishings in a mystifying sort of torture. Despite how all those nights of sleeping on the ground have left me yearning for the comfort of a cushion, I know I can't sleep here. The vampire needs only to close the curtains to accost me in my sleep. Back outside I go. The days are long this time of year. I'll have plenty of time to try climbing the ledge when I wake. I grab a decorative pillow from the sofa. It's not much, but it will make my cobblestone bed a little more bearable. Yeah, I know what it's like to sleep on the floor. It's not fun. I retrace my steps through the estate and practically collapse into the first ring of sunlight I find. I can't imagine being able to sleep when the sun's shining down on me too. I awake from a dreamless, restless slumber into the cold of evening. Sitting up with a jolt, I scan the sky with morning dismay. Sundown again already? How could I have slept for so long? The clenching aches in my bones and the blossoming bruises on my skin reveal the answer to my unspoken question. My stamina is spent. I won't be able to run the way I did yesterday. No, damn it. It feels like the very shadows are reaching for me, streaking across the ground like long claws. And speaking of claws, from the shade, the vampire looks down at me with flat displeasure. Oh, he's back. My fingers curl instinctively around the fire iron. You're still here, on the ground, no less. Where else would I be? Why, I figured you would have climbed onto the roof, run some mental calculus to determine the best angle of approach, and then leapt onto the moat to swim to freedom. A beat passes and I stare at him. Yes, that would be very practical, but anyone who tries it would surely splatter against the rocky ledge below. Perhaps, and even if they made it into the water, they would discover the alligators in the moat. Alligators, really? No. What the hell? What? Are you fucking with me? I think I liked you more when you were menacing me about the crimes I'd committed. She dislikes the taste of her own medicine. Shocking. He folded his arms behind his back as he paces around me. I'm very aware that he can grab and drag me into the shadows if he so desires, but he's choosing not to. You never did tell me what you did to get sent here. You're right, I didn't. We stare at each other now, sharing an ugly pause. But I apologize for my behavior last night and for making a mess. Truly. He looks as though he's expecting a punchline. Yes, truly. I don't know what it's like to own an estate, but I'm sure it's dreadful having someone run through it. Indeed. Will you tell me what you're planning to do with my fire iron? What, this old thing? I could lie to him, but I see little point in it. While I've developed a skill of enthralling an audience with tall tales, it's not as if I can trick them into believing my stories are real. Unless they're children, of course. And the pacing vampire hasn't seemed terribly childlike thus far. In any case, I'm not a good liar. When one is not a good liar, honesty is by far the better policy. If you leapt at me, I would have tried to swing it at you. But I also thought I could use it as a handhold to get over the ledge. I cannot begrudge you your caution against me. But using a fire iron as a handhold, really? The ledge is made of solid stone. But it's old, isn't it? Surely the stone has weathered down over the years. It most certainly has not. You would begrudge me for trying everything at my disposal. I might if you ran my fire iron in the process. You need not try such inventive tactics if you agreed to barter with me. Right, yes, about that. I'll have you know I'm extremely well traveled. How informed are you about recent histories and new discoveries throughout the world? What makes you think I would be interested in such things? You mentioned you were open to trading knowledge. I remember it like it was just yesterday. It was just yesterday. What do you mean? Every 2 years, I receive a new guest at my estate. Each guest has some capacity to tell me news about the outside world. I have previously offered their freedom in exchange, but hearing news of the outside world loses its appeal when one is not welcome to participate in it. Also true, but some men and women have nothing else to give. Surely you would not deprive this opportunity from a future guest when you have more to offer than this? My loot feels heavy against my back. What else can I offer that amounts to the price of my freedom? Please, I can't give it to you, he scoffs at me. Just when I thought you were seeing sense. But I may yet be as amendable as you have been to me. Last night, I hadn't fully understood that you play music as your primary profession. None at first. My recent slew of guests have been cutthroats and highwaymen. I forget that I've also housed scientists and artists. I presume you must be good at your craft. As such, you need your loot more than I do. The sudden and unexpected empathy leaves me speechless. He takes my silence as permission to continue. I ought to also admit it has been a very long time since someone has told me no. It irritated me to hear, but it is within your right to say. Forgive me for making it seem otherwise. He's very polite. This was highly unexpected. As if our cordial conversation hasn't been astonishing enough, the vampire inclines his head toward me. You're forgiven, but wouldn't everyone have fought you to the bitter end? I imagine there must have been several no's sprinkled in there. He chuckles wearily. When properly bound and restrained, one's capacity to fight to the bitter end is quite limited. I expect this leads itself to making my guests more amenable to negotiation, and to giving me anything I should desire. Oh, he really wasn't expecting me to break free of my bonds. Enough on this matter. I propose we approach this from a new angle. What do you want, mortal? If freedom has no strong appeal for you, perhaps you'd be more interested in power, in immortality. Wait, what? I don't miss the saccharine way he says that last word. No, I'm fairly sure I do want freedom. I can't imagine the price I'd have to pay for the other two. My stomach growls. But I could do with some food. Food. Even if I get out of here, the nearest village is miles away. I won't get that far on an empty stomach. You would ask a vampire to feed you? A marvelously modest start to our negotiative relationship. Your stomach shall be filled. I should have a surplus of blood lying around here somewhere. I can't drink blood. I'm joking. I'm not so old that I've forgotten what mortals eat. Come with me. You cheeky bastard. He begins to lead the way. I struggle to my feet, but have difficulty steadying myself that he pauses and turns to observe me. I end up using the fire iron to help me maintain my balance, like a metal walking stick. You look pitiful. I'm sure. My apologies for not being the picture of grace after a 9-day hike with a slave-driving guardsman. Now where exactly do you plan on taking me? The vampire is kind enough to slow his pace and walk with me in parallel tandem, though he stays in the shadows and I in the waning light. You're astoundingly paranoid. I'm taking you somewhere I can feed you, like we agreed. You mean to feed on me, don't you? No. He says it with such disgust that I gape at him, taken aback. Oh, don't even begin to act offended. Have you looked at yourself? Filthy. Dragged through prison cells in mud. Your taste will most certainly be foul. I bite back a retort about how I'm supposed to taste, more importantly. You're really not going to kill and eat me? Ever? Covered in muck as you are, I have no desire to touch you. You doubt me? I don't know. It sounds like you'll attack me the moment I'm clean. And I can't get a read on you. Maybe it's your fetish to lure your victims into a false sense of security? How easily you remark on a stranger's fetishes. I had my suspicions that you were a traveler, but I'm certain now that you could not have been raised in Alluvia. Ah, yes. Beautiful Alluvia, kingdom of ungrateful prudes. They don't appreciate me here at all. I'm quite certain they did not. You may have a seat and wait here, though I can't guarantee the chairs won't bite. Very funny. He smirks a little at that, though he turns as if to hide it. Why are you hiding? The kitchen is nearby. I won't be long. Okay. I caught a glimpse of his kitchen during my exploration last night. I noticed it was stocked with well-loved pans and utensils, but I never imagined that he meant to use them with any frequency. I expect you'll stay put, woefully wounded as you are. If you wander off and I can't find you, I'll have to deposit your meal into the moat. Ah, very well. I'll tame my adventurous spirit for the time being. Wouldn't want your imaginary alligators to be fed in my place. You're catching on. Good girl. Okay, witty banter back and forth. This is kind of fun. True to his word, the vampire returns in short order. He sets a tray loaded with roasted roots and grilled perch before me. A simple enough meal, but one of the most beautiful sights I've seen in recent memory. It's not a plate of blood. It's not. Shall I switch it out for you? No, I'll be quiet. I reach for a fork and slice into the fish, excited to savor my first meal in days. I take the first bite and... Oh, is it bad? It's awful. Some of the prison slop tasted better than this burnt, over-salted tragedy. Even stranger, I taste hints of cinnamon, garlic, and coffee. What did you soak this in coffee? And a cinnamon garlic mix? What? Oh my god. Why? It's unpalatable. Is she gonna eat it though? At this point, I have no idea what I'm eating, but I'm too hungry to stop. Oh no, she's gonna eat it. Oh god, that would have made me gag. I must have outdone myself. Don't forget to breathe. Mortals need air in their lungs, I hear. It's not delicious. No. My fork pauses against my lips. Please say it's awful. Best meal I've ever had. Oh fuck, I should have saved. It's not though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Gods, it's really not. Oops, I might have angered him. We'll see how it goes. This is one of the worst cooked fish that I've had in my life, but it tastes better than starvation. The vampire regards me with an unreadable expression. His next words are slow as they are measured. I've served more than 100 guests in my lifetime. Not a single one of them has described as I quote, better than starvation. Without constructive criticism, how will you improve? Surely you will not begrudge me for being honest. The vampire watches me finish my next bite, eyes narrowed. No matter. I care not what you think of my cooking. I think you kind of do. His lower lip unmistakably jutted into a small pout, but I don't get to see it for long. Now that I've given you a meal, you will now give me something I want in return. Why do you keep insisting on these inane little trades? He shrugs his shoulder with a touch of derision. It's by nature. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. No service without a cost. Fine, vampire. Can I interest you in a song? He arches a brow and says nothing, but I can tell I've piqued his interest. Oh, yes, please play something for him. I've seen your books. All technicality, no whimsy. It must have been some time since you last heard a compelling story. I shift my lute into my arms, strumming it once for intrigue, a tempting little preview. Very well, bard. A song in exchange for a meal. I lower my gaze to my lute, heaving a sigh I didn't know I was holding. Good. I just have to play a single song. It's a simple request, one I've fulfilled thousands of times over in several taverns, but the thrill of anticipation is making my fingers jitter. Oh no, I know how that feels. Just yesterday, I was grimly certain that I would never perform again. Now I'm performing for the vampire who was supposed to tear me to shreds. I traced a fingernail over a single string. Then I plucked at each string sequentially, testing and tuning in turn. And then I begin to play. Are we gonna hear it? The vampire, who until now had a perpetual proclivity for pacing, slows and pauses mid-step to watch me with his hands folded on a writing table. My voice turns into the best weapon I've ever wielded, stronger and sharper than any knife or fire iron. Notes trickle from my lungs, rush through my throat, and pour from my lips onto a song that floods the room with a tale most forlorn. The ballad I've chosen starts melancholic. It follows a young man as life takes from him. His father is the first to be taken, life cut short by a plague. His betrothed the next, abandoning him for a wealthier man. When he's brutally mugged and left for dead, he feels as though his last remnants of peace have been torn to shreds. He finds himself alone, left behind, forgotten. His mind is swallowed whole by rage and grief and self-loathing, until one day, he decides it's his turn to take. He takes the torch to the stables of his former betrothed. He takes a noble woman's heart with false oaths and pretty words. He takes the world by storm, molding it like wet sand to fulfill his every desire. When I finish the song, I offer the vampire a small bow. Throughout my entire performance, his gaze clung to me like a thorn, never once wavering from my body. What a wretched protagonist. You don't like it. It's one of my most requested tavern songs. Ah, how baffling to hear that human men find inspiration in an egocentric finale. There's a version of this song with a female protagonist. It's not always requested by men. Another unexpected revelation. Although I find the song's message disagreeable, I will concede that you sung it well. Oh, thank you. We lapse into a brief silence, not quite looking at each other. To my surprise, he's the one who speaks next. This estate, I often forget what it's like to have more than the sound of my own thoughts and the cicadas crying in the night. With nothing to interrupt the passage of immortality, silence can be maddening. I imagine. How much do you earn at these taverns of yours? How many songs did it take for you to afford an instrument of that quality? How many songs? I've never thought of it that way. It doesn't really work like that. I looked down at my lute, running my fingers over its surface. It was given to me, which means I never actually had to pay for it, but I don't need to share that with him. Sometimes I compose original songs on commission, which is more time-consuming but affords me more gold. As for crowd work, a classic in a well-stocked bar on a good night would net me several dozen coppers and a handful of gold. I suppose it amounts to 100 songs or so, if I combine the two. Of course, saving up for an artisan's instrument would take even longer. Yes, 100 songs, you say. 100 songs over 100 nights, and I will ensure you have food, hygiene, and eventual safe passage from the estate. Oh, hygiene. But if I'm clean, you'll want to suck my blood. And then you can be clean in a day and dirty yourself up in the night if it pleases you. Do what you will. His words hang in the air between us like a haze. Despite the numerous opportunities he's had to hurt me, he hasn't laid a hand on me all night. If my safety really is guaranteed, it's a tempting deal to take. I would take it. Besides, it's not like I have many other options. This is also true. Just some songs and you'll let me go. You won't try and steal my loot while I sleep. You take me for a common thief. How dare you? Such an appalling accusation when you can clearly see I still have all my fingers. What? Oh, we're back to the whole finger thing. The vampire raises his hands for me to see. The familiarity of the gestures uncanny. It seems to me like a powerful vampire like you can recover from serious wounds at an instant. You could have been amputated at the elbow for all we know. And speaking of vampires, I seem to recall a legend that suggests your kind can't cross running water, which means you can't leave the estate either, can you? I'm curious to know what crime you committed to be sent here. Ooh, enough. I await your song tomorrow. He stands to leave. Okay. Good night, sweet prince. Don't let bed bugs bite. I hope you see me in your nightmares. Oh my god. This one's cheekier. Let's go with that. Good night, sweet prince. Don't let the bed bugs bite. You realize I'm not going to sleep. I just no longer wish to be in your company. Oh, snap. Sick burns. And then I hope the bed bugs do bite you. Keep speaking that way and there may be more biting than you bargained for, mortal. I clamp my mouth shut. He strides to the nearest window. Bye-bye, buddy. Like before, he erupts into a mist and takes off into the night in the shape of a bat, but this time he's left me with a half-finished plate of unsauced fish. That was fun. Alright, I think this is a pretty good place to stop. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!